Okay, hello and thank you for joining today's webinar. I am Jason Fitzgerald, VP for Products for Blustream in the US region, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here. So in this brief session, we'll be exploring our growing lineup of amplifiers, highlighting features, applications, and what sets our technology apart. To keep things running smoothly, all participant microphones are muted during the presentation. However, please feel free to submit any questions using the chat or Q&A feature in this webinar. We'll address them live when possible or circle back to them at the end of this session. So let's go ahead and get started. While our amplifier lineup may be compact, it's packed with powerful features that are often overlooked, and that's exactly why we're here today. In this session, we'll walk you through our amplifier range, highlighting key features of each model, with a special focus on our I2D class amplification technology. We'll also explore real-world application examples and provide a look at our intuitive web interfaces, showing just how simple these amplifiers are to configure and manage. And we're going to kick things off with the MPA100DA. So this compact powerhouse is the first of 3 Dante-enabled amplifiers in our lineup. It's been part of our range for a while, but it continues to be a favorite among commercial and pro AV integrators thanks to its flexibility and reliability in the field. At its core, the MPA100DA delivers versatile output options. So that's 2x50 watt stereo, 1x100 watts mono bridged, or 7100 volt constant voltage. So whatever your system demands. What truly sets it apart is the wide array of inputs. We've got Dante or AES67, an optical SPDIF, HDMI ARC, balanced or unbalanced analog, and even a mic input with 48 volt phantom power. So all outputs are active at the same time with individual controls for mute, volume, and lip sync. So you can fine tune each channel independently. On the control side, this amp is fully loaded with a 31 band EQ. You've got plus minus 10 dB of gain, audio delay for lip sync correction, and flexible control options, including IP, and this is either it's shared or isolated from Dante. Along with that, we've got RS-232, IR, voltage triggers, and auto standby with signal sensing. So a lot of different control options here. In short, the MPA100DA is a compact, highly adaptable amplifier built to handle a wide variety of commercial AV environments with ease. When it comes to powering the MPA100DA, most installations will use the included power supply, and that's what you'll want if you're aiming for the unit's full output capabilities. However, for applications that don't require maximum output, say in background audio zones or lower power distributed audio systems, we've also built in PoE or Power over Ethernet support. So this adds flexibility and simplifies installation, especially when outlet access is limited or your rack space is tight. So on screen, you'll see a breakdown of the amplifier's maximum output depending on how it's powered. So whether it's by the dedicated PSU or via PoE from your Dante-enabled network switch. The same table is available on the product spec sheet for easy reference later. Now, what this means for AV dealers and integrators, especially when we talk about that PoE capability, is it's an easier design option for multi-zone systems or cleaner installs with fewer cables and outlets, and gives you greater flexibility in choosing how and where this amp is deployed. So the bottom line, power the unit based on your performance needs and infrastructure. The MPA100DA gives you options without compromise. Now, what you're seeing here is a live snapshot of the unit's web-based control panel, the heart of how users manage input selection and microphone integration. On the left, users can easily toggle between input sources, so that's between Dante, optical, HDMI ARC, or line in with a simple click. The currently selected inputs highlighted in blue, making it clear which signal path is active. Each source includes its own volume control to the right, with intuitive sliders, step up or step down buttons, and muting capabilities. This level of granularity makes it easy to fine-tune each input without needing to dive into deeper menus. Now, looking toward the bottom of the screen, you'll see the microphone section. The mic can be activated with a single click and will mix over the selected source above, perfect for paging, voiceover, or announcements. You need it to override all other audio, you can just hit the mic only button that's there in the lower right. From there, users can tailor the gain, the ducking level and sensitivity, the auto feedback suppression, even dial in a 3-band EQ for clean, intelligible vocals. And here's a key takeaway for integrators. Every button or control you see here has a corresponding open API command. So that means seamless integration into third-party control systems over IP or RS-232, giving you full flexibility whether you're programming a custom Crestron system, or working with a more streamlined control platform. This isn't just a flexible amp, right? It's an integrator's best friend when it comes to smart networked audio. So let's shift to the output stage, where the MPA100DA really gives you the fine-tuned control that integrators appreciate out in the field. From the GUI, you can adjust each output channel independently or use the master fader to control all outputs simultaneously. So that's ideal when balancing levels across zones. Each output has its own lip sync delay setting, which helps ensure perfectly aligned audio, especially when distributing to displays or speakers across multiple rooms. So if you need to match speaker impedance, no problem. You've got selectable 4 ohm and 8 ohm output options built right into the interface. And if you're working with a distributed system, 70 volt or 100 volt voltage mode is handled by a physical switch located on the back panel of the amp, which gives you easy access where you don't have to dive into the software or do any kind of menu diving. So when we talk about EQ, that built-in 31 band graphic equalizer spans the full audio range from 20 Hz to 20 kHz. That gives you the power to dial in the perfect sound profile for any space. So whether you're tuning for speech clarity, background music, or live audio reinforcement. We've also included 3 preset configurations, right? You've got a flat response for a neutral baseline and 2 customizable profiles that can be stored and recalled via the GUI or the API. So what this means for AV dealers and integrators: reduced setup time with pre-configured EQ, quick access for tuning during commissioning, and seamless third-party control for system automation, right? It's professional-grade DSP control in a form factor that's approachable, powerful, and built to adapt to real-world AV installs. So let's wrap this one up with a key feature that really speaks to the flexibility of the MPA100DA. It's full bidirectional Dante audio support. This amplifier isn't just a receiver, it's also a transmitter. So that means in your Dante controller software, you'll see both receive and transmit channels available for routing. Now, this is what it unlocks, right? You can pull audio from any Dante source and feed it into the amplifier, and you can also stream the selected output from this unit to other Dante-enabled endpoints on the network, like additional amps, DSPs, or ceiling speakers in adjacent zones. One important note: the MPA100DA has concurrent analog and digital outputs, and whatever input source is currently selected, so that's Dante, HDMI ARC, optical, or the line in, is what gets transmitted back out onto the Dante network. And this is going to allow for incredibly simple and efficient distribution of audio without needing extra hardware or conversions. Perfect for scalable installs, overflow zones, or distributed paging systems. So whether you're building out a conference room, a retail environment, or a multi-zone hospitality space, this feature gives you the kind of flexibility that speeds up installs and simplifies your architecture. Now, from an application standpoint, what truly sets the MPA100DA apart is its unmatched flexibility, with support for multiple input types, right? Plus third-party control integration and that selectable 8 ohm, 4 ohm, 70-100 volt, the high Z, low Z, right? This amp is built to adapt to a wide range of real-world scenarios. So the question asks, well, where does it shine? Practically everywhere, right? In corporate meeting rooms, we can deliver full range audio for presentations, video calls, and hybrid meetings with clean, discrete installs. In the education space, it supports voice reinforcements for instructors with mic mixover capability, helping us keep speech intelligible even in larger or acoustically challenging spaces. In hospitality and retail, the constant voltage, the high Z in this case, output makes it easy to distribute background music or paging across multiple zones with minimal cabling. And in multi-conference or commercial AV, it's Dante, the TX channels that allow it to work seamlessly as part of a larger networked audio system. So if you're designing for clarity, coverage, or cost efficiency, the MPA100DA is the kind of amplifier that lets you scale up without complication. So let's talk about that 70 volt, 100 volt high Z output. The MPA100 is an ideal solution for distributed audio applications, especially where coverage, clarity, and simplicity matter most. So this output mode allows integrators to, of course, then daisy chain multiple speakers across long cable runs without worrying about signal loss or complex impedance matching. Now that makes it perfect for delivering piped music or paging in retail environments where we can create an inviting atmosphere, right, with background audio throughout the store, or hotels and hospitality providing smooth, consistent sound in lobbies, hallways, and reception areas. I always think elevator music for some reason. Casinos or event venues, right, to ensure announcement and ambient music reach every corner of the floor. So, if you're supporting background music or paging systems, the MPA100DA lets you scale easily using fewer amplifiers and less cabling. Right? It's a great upsell for multi-zone applications that don't require a rack full of gear. You get high performance audio, streamlined installation, and the networked control that today's clients expect. So now let's take a look at the MPA70DA, a smaller sibling in our Dante amplifier family that continues to be a global favorite for integrators working with limited space or lower output requirements. So this ultra compact unit delivers 2 by 35 watts of stereo, 1 at 70 watts mono bridged, or the same 7100 volt high Z output, all driven from a networked audio via Dante or AES67. Now don't let the small size fool you. The MPA70DA is packed with the same professional features in its bigger sibling, the MPA100. So this includes, of course, the 31 band EQ, the 10 dB gain plus or minus, audio delay, auto standby with signal sensing, and also, of course, full control integration. It's compact, capable, and completely in sync with modern AV system design. Again, the MPA70DA is designed with flexibility in mind, especially when it comes to power. So like the MPA100, you have some flexibility when deploying this unit using PoE. The table shown here, of course, is the max output levels achievable depending on the capabilities of the network switch it's connected to. And for future planning, this same breakdown is included in the user manual. So why does this matter for AV dealers? Well, we're talking about fewer SKUs to manage, so the same amp, multiple deployment options, cleaner install with less cabling when PoE is viable, and more value for clients with variable power needs in the same building. This is the kind of smart, scalable solution that makes systems design easier and more profitable. Now, the MPA70DA's user interface is intentionally simplified compared to the larger MPA100DA. And that's by design. Because this amp is built around a single network audio input, there's really no need for input switching or routing menus. But don't let that simplicity fool you. You'll still get all the powerful DSP tools where it counts. So whether you're deploying this in a huddle space, a hotel suite, or overflow zone, the MPA70DA keeps your workflow efficient and your sound optimized. Now, because that audio input is streamlined, it's delivered exclusively via Dante or AES67, so that basically means the source is either locally managed or part of a fixed route within your networked audio system, ensuring clean and reliable delivery. So what sets this apart is its ability to deliver high quality sound in slightly smaller spaces where the larger MPA100 might be overkill. So think of residential settings like bedrooms, dining rooms, or smaller living areas where a compact yet professional grade amp is the ideal fit. So here's a pro tip for integrators. Pair the MPA70DA with our DA11 ARC converter to take 2-channel audio directly from a display's HDMI ARC connection in the room and then feed it straight to the amplifier. This creates a seamless solution for localized audio, perfect for TVs and secondary spaces where simplicity and performance matter. The MPA70DA gives integrators a straightforward way to add premium networked audio in both commercial and residential projects. It's simple integration with displays, streaming devices, or media sources via using the HDMI ARC, and an easy upsell for smaller zones and still demand professional sound. The MPA70DA is a go-to solution when you want Dante-enabled performance, but in a smaller, smarter package. Now, when it comes to commercial spaces, the MPA70DA is great for front-of-house environments. So think retail stores, hotel lobbies, or casino floor areas. Whether you're streaming background music or routing a PA announcement system, the MPA70DA brings reliability and scalability to every zone. So what's the bottom line? This amp lets you deliver high-quality audio in all the places that your customer hears it first. So before we move on to the last amp in this Dante capable range, it's important to talk about I2D class. So, Jason, what is I2D class? Well, we like to think of it as a smarter, cooler alternative to traditional Class D amplifier tech. So, Blustream's I2D class technology represents a leap forward from conventional Class D amplifier design. So while Class D amps are known for their efficiency, they often require large power supplies and generate enough heat to demand some kind of mechanical cooling, especially under high loads. Well, this is where I2D class changes all of that. So this technology has been developed in collaboration with an Australian engineering firm. So I2D class uses a new and proprietary algorithm that delivers a low switching frequency and high oversampling ratio. So what does that all mean? What's the result? Well, what we're talking about is cleaner, more accurate audio reproduction. The ability to utilize every ounce of power input, so even when we're using PoE, and virtually no heat, eliminating the need for fans or bulky enclosures. So in contrast to Class D, I2D delivers real-time error correction. So that improves clarity at both ends of the frequency range without the trade-offs and really added complexity of having to utilize additional hardware components, which are of course all potential points of failure. So at the end of the day, for integrators, what does this mean? A compact form factor with premium performance, reliable operation in heat-sensitive or space-limited installs, and it's ideal for residential zones, huddle spaces, and networked PoE applications. So we'll take a look here at 3 I2D equipped models, and yes, we're already working on bringing this technology to future versions of our most popular amps. So with all that said, this brings us to wrapping up our Dante or AES67 amplifier lineup with the MPA20DA. So this is the most compact model in the range and the first to feature our new I2D class amplification tech. Despite its size, just 11 by 15 centimeters, and I need to convert that to freedom units, but in any case, this amp delivers 2 by 10 watts at stereo or 20 watt mono bridged over PoE, making it perfect for discrete installs in tight spaces like hospitality suites, hotel bathrooms, classrooms, or signage zones. Now, it's not just about size. The MPA20DA includes some pro-level features that integrators expect from really the rest of our line. So again, this is like that 31 band EQ, lip sync delay, IP and RS-232 control, voltage triggering auto standby, and of course, powered entirely over PoE, with I2D class technology ensuring full bandwidth audio performance without heat buildup or efficiency losses. It's compact, networked, and incredibly capable. The MPA20DA proves that great sound doesn't need to take up space. Now, looking at our power management table for this product, thanks to that incredible efficiency of the I2D class tech, the MPA20DA can deliver its near full rated output even when powered by PoE+. That means you're getting more energy to the speakers, more headroom, and more clarity without needing bulky power supplies or generating the heat typical of traditional amps. It's compact, cool running, and designed to squeeze the most out of every watt. So whether you're powering in-ceiling speakers in a hotel room or a pair of bookshelf speakers in a huddle room, the MPA20DA punches well above its size class. The performance to size ratio is really something that's need to be heard to believe. For dedicated specs, power ratings, and PoE performance charts, go ahead and refer to the MPA20 user guide, but just know this. It's engineered to outperform expectations in places that really most amps simply can't go. So again, going with that style of looking at the MPA interfaces, the MPA20DA carries forward the same intuitive interface that's found on the MPA70, giving you that familiar and streamlined experience across the line. You'll still find all that pro level control here that you'd expect and saw on the other line. So that's independent input and output control, lip sync delay, 31 band EQ. And really this consistency makes deployment and training a breeze, especially when installing multiple amplifier models within the same project. And again, just like the MPA70DA, the MPA20 uses Dante or AES67 as the sole audio input, making a perfect fit for smaller networked audio zones where simplicity and efficiency really matter. So this amplifier shines in applications where really volume isn't the focus, but presence and clarity are key, such as huddle rooms or breakout spaces, guest bedrooms or bathrooms in residential installs, voice reinforcement in commercial meeting rooms or training environments, digital signage or hospitality zones needing ambient background music, right? So if you're building out a modern networked audio system, this is the amp that makes the small zones sound just as good as the big ones. So now we're going to move on to a different family. Here we have the MPA20 ARC, which again, may be small in size, but it's packed with the performance and features that we really want to see from a modern AV environment. So a lot of the core features here is, again, like the similar product we just looked at, the MPA20, it's 2 by 10 watt stereo or 1 by 20 watt bridged. Now, this, of course, is built again on our cutting edge I2D class digital amp technology. There is 2-channel HDMI ARC with an input and carries with it CEC volume control, which is going to make it ideal for pairing directly with TVs. The analog audio input and loop out for daisy chaining, and we'll talk about that here pretty soon. Input level gain control, 31 band EQ, triggers, standby, and power, of course, via PoE+, making it perfect for hospitality suites, bedrooms, and meeting pods. Zone residential audio, where size and simplicity matter, or projects where direct-to-TV audio via ARC is the preferred method, right? This is your go-to solution when you need a clean, compact amp to deliver premium sound and seamless integration, and all this powered on a single cable. And again, going to the interface for this product, as you'd expect, the MPA-20 ARC carries forward that same intuitive user interface that we've seen across the amp range, right? That consistent layout and familiar controls, right? Access to EQ, volume, lip sync, etc. Now, all of this is to say that we're trying to make it easy for integrators to deploy multiple models across a project without retraining techs or clients. So whether you're working with the MPA-100, the 70, or the 20 ARC, right? The one new addition that you see here is device management. And with that, and you'll see that highlighted here at the top menu bar, we'll take a closer look at that specific feature after we wrap up the final amp in this lineup. So remember, it's one interface, one learning curve, full control. So last up here is the MPA-20 ANA, part of the same compact I2D powered family, and of course, as like the MPA-20 ARC, but this one's designed specifically for installs where analog audio is the sole input. Functionally, it mirrors the ARC model exactly. You get the same powerful amp platform, full DSP control, PoE capability, and the same compact footprint, just with like we had with the HDMI ARC. So why do we offer this one? Well, because sometimes simplicity just wins, especially in systems with centralized DSP or legacy audio sources where analog is all that's needed. The MPA-20 ANA is small, smart, the perfect fit for when you want the power of a platform just without the digital input. So I mentioned a little bit earlier about that device management, and this is one of the standout features of the MPA-20 ARC and the MPA-20 ANA. It's their built-in capability to give integrators a simple, effective way to expand audio coverage without adding complexity. You can daisy chain up to 4 units using analog audio loop-through, with 1 unit designated as the master and up to 3 additional units configured as slaves. So here's the beauty of this setup. All amplifiers then share the same input signal. Control is then unified, meaning you can manage all 4 amps as one from a third-party control system or automation platform. Now, whether you start with the ARC version or the ANA, either can act as the master. The rest of that stack is built from the ANA models. In the example shown here, the master amplifier's input, either the HDMI ARC or the analog, feeds all downstream units via the analog loop out. This ensures consistent distribution across all speakers while keeping your install clean and centralized. So with that, you're getting the ability to easily scale sound across larger rooms or multi-zone spaces without a DSP, use fewer amplifiers with smarter signal distribution, maintain centralized control while delivering localized performance. It's a cost-effective way to extend sound evenly across a room. Perfect for hospitality, retail, classrooms, and conference spaces where balanced coverage is key. So how do we set that all up? Let's take a look at this, right? So setting up a multi-amp configuration with the MPA-20 ARC or the MPA-20A is pretty easy, right? And all that happens is with that device management tab of the web interface. What you see here are 2 screenshots showing how to assign roles, one for designating a master unit, which handles input and global control, and another for assigning the slave units, which follow the master's lead in both signals and settings. This simple UI makes it clear and quick to configure your amplifiers. So, no special tools, no complicated programming. So whether you're working on a hospitality suite, a training room, or a retail floor, this feature gives you the power to scale cleanly and control confidently right from your browser. And running back into that familiar power table, right? So one of the most impressive things about our I2D glass amps really is just how much clean dynamic output you get just from 10 watts of power per channel, right? The power efficiency really matches what you saw in the MPA-20D8 chart. So really this is essentially the same slide, but let's talk about this, right? Because by pairing these amps with a quality speaker, you'd be hard pressed to believe you're listening to just 10 watts. They're perfect for small spaces where size is limited, but expectations for sound quality really aren't. The performance chart you see gives you a breakdown of the output versus power conditions, right? And these aren't just small amplifiers, right? At the end of the day, they're smart, efficient, and really shockingly powerful. And then now from an application standpoint, now thanks to that built-in daisy chain functionality, the use cases for the MPA20 ARC and ANA expand far beyond what you'd expect from a compact 10-watt amp. So let's get out of the way. These aren't really built for clubs or cinemas, but that's really not the point. What you get instead is a network-ready amp that delivers essential DSP control, zero heat output, ultra-small footprint, PoE-powered performance, and all at a cost-effective price. In residential installs, they're perfect for standalone zone amps in bedrooms, bathrooms, or offices, or stacked in larger areas like the kitchen and an open plan space for balanced coverage. In commercials, these really shine in huddle rooms and meeting spaces, background audio for hospitality, spas, lounges, and galleries, education and retail zones where clarity and control matter more than just raw volume. Think of them as your new go-to solution for quiet spaces, clean installs, and controlled performance, where really every watt needs to count. So before we wrap up here, let's take a quick look back at the amplifiers that we've covered today. Now, this slide gives you a side-by-side comparison of the lineup, a handy reference when choosing the right model for your next project. So go ahead and grab a screenshot if you'd like. This makes a great cheat sheet for specifying, quoting, or pitching the right amp based on the application. So what we've summarized here, of course, is our power output options, the input types, right? Dante, HDMI ARC, and analog. The control features, we've seen this in the web interfaces, and the form factor and power method that's delivered for each one of these solutions. And we've talked about unique tech, like the I2D class amplification. So whether you're building out a multi-room home audio system, or outfitting a conference suite, or adding background music to a cafe or showroom, this range gives you flexible, efficient solutions that scale beautifully without breaking the budget. For AV dealers, think of this as your quick comparison guide. So whether you're recommending a single zone amp for a smart home or stacking multiple units for a balanced commercial setup. And then that brings us to the end of today's walkthrough of Blustream's amplifier lineup, a compact family of products designed to deliver flexible, modern audio solutions for a wide range of applications. Now, if you'd like to dive deeper, our website is your best next stop. You'll find each product grouped by technology under the products menu, making it easy to explore additional specs, diagrams, and integration tools. And if you prefer a more personal touch, no problem. Please reach out to your Blustream authorized distribution partner, or you can certainly give us a call or send me an email at your leisure. We're well equipped to guide you through the product selection, product planning, or anything else you need to bring your system together. And if you want to stay in the loop on what's coming next, just follow us on social, right? You'll be the first to hear about us, right? With new product releases, upcoming I2D class advancements, and next-gen audio solutions, including multi-zone amps with built-in matrixing and expanding other output options. So thanks again for joining us today. We're excited to see how you bring these solutions to life in your next install. Now, before we jump into Q&A, just a quick reminder, our brand new 2025 solutions brochure is available now, and you can download it directly from the Blustream homepage or reach out to your regional tech support team if you prefer to have it just sent to you. And with that, we've reached the end of today's session, so thanks again for spending part of the day with us. We appreciate your time, your attention, and your continued support of the Blustream brand. And let's go ahead and take a moment to answer any of the questions that you've either submitted or can ask right now.